Hey guys! Welcome to another episode of The Petite Baker. Today, as promised, I am going to be going through vanillas. So I wanted to pick up where I left off, which is with Penzey's, and I just wanted to do a basic walkthrough. So while I talk about what I prefer in a vanilla, I'm also going to be talking about what to look for and also just the history of vanilla, basically, so that you know what all goes into making vanilla extracts. So this is my Penzey's Mexican vanilla extract again. And it also is a single strength. And what that means is exactly what it sounds like. And basically, Penzey's ran through the extracting process a single time to get to this strength. And even then, it's still going to be a higher strength than the stuff that you purchase in the grocery store. So that's pretty nifty. And sometimes, depending on the company, they're going to change the terms up a little bit. Some say single strength, some say one fold, and they both mean the same thing. So, and then when you get into double strength and two-fold, then that means that they ran through the extracting process twice. So then it's double the strength and it's double the concentration, and so you don't have to use as much necessarily to get the amount of flavor that you want in a vanilla. What else is nice about Penzey's, and something that you kind of have to watch out for, is that they use bourbon in their extracts, which actually imparts a lot of flavor to it. The other guys might use a different type of alcohol, a cheaper alcohol, and so it's not going to have the same full-bodied, rich, kind of extra flavor to it, and so it's actually going to make quite a bit of difference. And I prefer to look out for bourbon vanillas because I prefer the flavor of bourbon vanillas much better. The other awesome thing is if you buy a bottle this big, you can kind of see, I don't know, you can see it floating in there or not, but there's a vanilla bean in there. So whenever you buy this big of a bottle, they also give you a free vanilla bean that sits in there and actually adds a little bit more flavor as you go through it. And then when you've completely used up your bottle, then you have this awesome soaked vanilla bean that you can scrape out the seeds and you can put it in frostings or whipped cream or homemade ice creams, and it actually does still have a lot of flavor to it. So that's why I'm saving the bottle. Now the competitor. This is Nielsen Massey, and this is kind of like the known company name that is associated with high quality vanillas. The only reason why I don't recommend them is because most of their vanillas that are seen in stores, they just simply say pure vanilla extract. And sometimes it's not what the label says, but what it doesn't say. And it never says bourbon. I've never been able to find one in a store where it actually says bourbon. And I just prefer the bourbon vanillas over not knowing what kind of alcohol they use. So that's the only reason why I don't highly recommend them and why I prefer Penzey's. I also think that the flavor of Penzey's is a little bit better for what I like to use it for, but you might not be able to tell the difference. It's just a preference thing, really. What I do recommend that Nielsen Massey makes exclusively is their vanilla bean paste. Now, the only negative side is that this has gum tragacanth in it, and basically it's a type of very low bloom gelatin, and it's not made from the same thing, so it's not, it doesn't have animal in it, like animal bone. But it's still kind of the same material, and that's what's creating the thickness. But if you can see, it's very gummy. You can see all the vanilla beans, and it smells so good. And it tastes excellent in anything where you really want the vanilla to come through very strongly. So whipped cream, ice cream, frostings, anything like that where you just want it to taste like vanilla. I highly recommend this stuff. This is excellent stuff. And vanilla comes from different places all around the world. There aren't too many farms, but they do come from kind of a wide variety of places. The top places that they come from are Madagascar, which I prefer Madagascar personally. It's a very strong bourbon note that comes through, but it's also a very clean vanilla flavor, and I think it's the most full-bodied, and I just have a thing for it. There's also Tahitian, which is another popular one. Tahitian is going to have like a fruity and very slightly smoky note to it, and it's got quite a different flavor to it than a typical vanilla. Sometimes that's really good, and sometimes for me it's not clean enough, so I don't prefer it. But that's usually what you're going to get out of it, is like a smoky, fruity kind of note. Now, number 3 would be Mexico. And Mexico, I would say, is going to be the cleanest out of the 3. It's going to be the most true vanilla flavor, because they usually don't add anything to it. It's not going to have a smoky note, it's not going to have a fruity note, and it's not going to taste overly bourbon powerful. It's just going to be vanilla, which sometimes that's exactly what you want. So I highly recommend Madagascar and Mexican. I think those are my 2 favorites, but all of them are really good, and they all impart a different flavor. So if you have any questions, I would love to hear them. And if you have any suggestions of vanilla manufacturing companies that you prefer, I would love to hear them, and I can try them out, and then I can do a review if you'd like. And I suppose that wraps it up for today. So I will see you guys next time on The Petite Baker, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week.